Authors and dragons!
Time of magic, age of might. A band of heroes step up to the fight. Playing with powers they don't understand. Will they fuck it all up or will they save the land?
Treachery, vanity, loitering, and worse. They are their own worst enemies. These fuckers don't need no cause. Authors and dragons! Authors and dragons!
Their powers combined, a group of fantasy authors take on a sadistic games master. Will they survive? Wouldn't you like to know?
Authors and dragons! Authors and dragons!
Hi, I'm John Hartness, and I'll be playing the role of Fandango the Fantastical, fireball-flinging bard of all trades. In real life, I write the Quincy Harker Demon Hunter series, the Black Knight Chronicles, and the Bubba the Monster Hunter series, which has a new release out, Season 4, Monsters, Magic, and Mayhem. That's available now in paperback, hardcover, and on Amazon. So get out there and buy that shit.
Hi everyone, my name is Rick Gualtieri, and I will be playing the mysterious Arrow of the Gods. Who could he possibly be? In real life, I write several books in several different genres. My latest release is called Get Bent, which is out there now, and I have a new Shingles book coming out soon. And I'm working on several things as we head into the fall, none of which is going to be out by the time you listen to this, so we'll talk about that another day.
Hello, friends. My name is Robert Bevan. I play the role of Klaus Richter, the notorious ROG. In real life, I write the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy, novels, and short stories, starting with the first book, Critical Failures.
Hi there, I'm Steve Wetherell, and I play Brandon Firemaster, the gnomish-speaking monk. In real life, I write the comedy fantasy series The Doomsayer Journeys, the first of which is called The Last Volunteer.
Hi, I am Drew Hayes, the weary, slowly dying inside GM. In real life, I write books such as NPCs, Fred the Vampire Accountant, and Superpowers. And when last we left our intrepid adventurers, they had successfully opened a door. I'm generally pausing if you guys want to pat yourselves on the back.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I put my back out.
No, we opened that door like a motherfucker.
I told my kids about that one.
I'm just happy to not get hit by the door. Because the last door punched me.
All right, well, how about everybody gives me perception checks? Ooh.
You ask for a lot.
All right.
Now we're talking.
Let's get this party started right.
Oh yeah, baby. Fandango rolls an 8.
The Arrow of the Gods perceives a 12.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a 14.
Klaus Richter rolls a 13.
All right. All of you are near enough to see Bjorg, who has been, of course, unconscious since the powder shot up his nose, suddenly wake up, leap to his feet, scream, "Must bathroom!" and bolt back in the direction that you came, grabbing his ass tightly. He'll probably recover by next game when Joe can rejoin us.
Hey,
Well, it's nice to see him looking well.
yeah, I guess having your character shit himself violently is better than having the rest of the party draw dicks on your forehead.
Honestly, half the time you guys choose to shit yourselves violently.
Just be careful next time we go back in that room and try to go down into that trap door. There might be a surprise at the bottom.
I mean, at least he's got like buckets of bones that he can poop in.
Not Klaus this time.
You sounded genuinely proud of yourself there.
It's the little things.
He's finally found a companion in Bjorg. All right, so everyone else, you can see that you have entered a large room. It's very smooth stone, very, very artificial. Like, this place has clearly been built. And it sort of looks like a big living space almost. There's like a few like water features that are kind of like still doing a little bit of like spits of water every now and then. It doesn't really look decrepit. It looks fairly well sustained. There's pavements. There's stone benches and stone tables like built into the structure. It sort of almost looks like a simulated outdoor area that you can all see. Everybody but Fandango can note that there are 7 large sort of structures, about 6 feet tall, that dot the landscape, with a 7th, much larger one in the center. And that is what you all get.
Fendingo's looking at the really smooth floor. This is some excellent craftsmanship, guys. I think somebody made this room.
The Arrow of the Gods will step forward, and he will head towards this one to investigate it.
As you step forward, you hear a voice that sort of seems to come from all around you. There's like lights, like little flickering stones embedded in the wall that just sort of keep the whole place in a nice ambient, soft light, but it's hard to find a source. The sound is the same way. It's sort of coming from everywhere and nowhere, just sort of spread through the room. Welcome to Hub, your destination for dining, resupplying, or taking some time to enjoy a synthetic outdoor environment. Hub, brought to you by Gentrignome.
Wow, this god sounds a shit ton better than Toreg.
Yes, he does.
This must be that gentrification I've heard about. This is great.
Hello? Hello, magical talking thing? I wanted to know if it knew the way to San Jose.
Are there, like, chairs we can sit in to be served?
Yeah, I didn't put them everywhere. I didn't, like, build, like, a whole artificial complex on the map. But, yeah, there's, like, stone benches, stone tables. Like, it really is like a sort of an outdoory area. I think like a park almost. But, of course, inside and no greenery.
Klaus would like to sit down and look for a menu.
You may sit down, and there's just stone.
All right. Arrow of the Gods will continue towards this thing.
Okay.
To check it out a little closer.
As you arrive at that one, you see basically what is a big sort of rock monolith, I want to say. Sort of like the stone from the beginning of 2001, Space Odyssey. But like marble and sleek, and with what looks like an enchanted glass sort of upon it.
An enchanted glass upon it. Like a drinking glass, or?
No, like a pane of glass that has been like installed into this marble rectangle.
Punch it.
All right, you roll me an attack.
Just get right down to business.
All right, so then that's an 8.
All right, an 8. You managed to touch it. It's a stationary object. It's not a great blow. You kind of more just like slap at it a little. But as you slap at it, the glass kind of like shimmers with an enchanted light, and you hear the voice again. I'm sorry. This terminal is only usable by those with 2 or more gemstone clearance. Please come back when you have elevated your status. Thank you for using Gentrignome. Your history is our progress.
Turn to Fandango. How many gems do you have on that stupid key of yours?
1, I think.
Boo.
That's probably not enough.
Yeah. Thanks for disappointing us as usual.
Klaus does a little bit of math in his head and determines that's less than 2.
Shit.
Gonna have to agree with Klaus on this one.
Well, let's see if the thing that doesn't have any eyes knows that. Fandango's going to come over here and slap at the glass, too.
You hear the same thing. I'm sorry. This terminal is only usable by those with 2
Maybe
or more
if we slap it
gemstone
together,
clearance.
because that would be 2 of
Please
us.
come back when you have elevated
With 1 gemstone.
Shut up.
Alright. Just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah. You two can successfully slap it to, again, get the exact same message. I'm sorry.
Alright. Well, what's this thing in the middle?
It looks like the others, but bigger.
Ha. Well, let's go over here. Slap at its glass thingy.
I'm sorry. This terminal is only usable by those with
4 gemstone level clearance. Please come back when you have elevated your status successfully. Thank you for using Gentrignome.
Now that's definitely more than one.
Maybe try a shittier one.
Yeah, are there any smaller ones?
They are all the exact same size except for the big one. But you've only tried one of the small ones.
So let's try this one over on the other side of the room.
Okay. This time, when you touch it, you see sort of like a swirling light show. Think like back when the computers were shittier and you got the fun startup animations.
Ooh. Hey guys, I made magic happen.
Welcome, 1 gemstone clearance level user. This is our components station, serviced by Gentrignome. Please select purchases and deposit gold.
And from the startup, you kind of see just a list appear, listing various baseline components for spell reagents, things you could use for crafting, just a shitload. If you were building something, you could get what you needed out of this.
Any booze?
Probably just has hops. Is there any booze? Or drugs? What about drugs?
No booze, no drugs.
This one's broken.
Do either Klaus or Brandon Thighmaster want to do something?
Seeing as it's an outdoor park environment simulation, Brandon Firemaster has just automatically broken into a jog when he's just jogging around in circles, looking vaguely annoyed at anybody who sort of isn't jogging who gets in his way.
I guess Klaus would like to go across the room and check. What are those things on the other side, on the far end?
Nobody rolled good enough to see, so
Oh, well.
you don't know.
Klaus will wander to the big thing in the center and have a look around.
Okay. That one is like 10 feet away. You don't even have to roll. More like 20, but who gives a shit? They are 3 doors. They are all identical, with the exception that the one to the far left has a symbol, basically like the 4 gem symbol that you've been seeing, except with 1 lit. The middle one shows 2 lit. The third one shows 3 lit.
Alright, Klaus would like to go to the middle one and check for traps.
Roll me a perception. Alright, Brandon's jogging, Klaus is doing that. Arrow of the Gods.
Touch the screen where I am.
We are sorry. This terminal is only accessible to users with 1 gemstone level clearance. Please return when you have significantly improved your station.
Fendingo, come over here and slap this one.
By asking me to do this, are you admitting that I'm innately better than you?
You'll notice I didn't ask. It was more like telling.
You'll notice that I haven't moved. Fendingo's going to go over to this one directly opposite from Arrow of the Gods and press the screen.
You get the startup animation and the welcome spiel, and then you see that this one is filled with
Scorpions!
basically what I would describe as adventuring gear. Backpacks, bedrolls, water skins, flasks. If you were setting out for an expedition of any kind, like this is where you would get your baseline shit. Ropes, caltrops, all that stuff.
Still no booze or drugs.
Still no booze and no drugs.
This one's broken too.
I think the one next to me said something about booze before it locked me out.
Well, if you'll admit that I'm better than you, I'll come press that one.
This is going to be a long game.
Yeah.
It is. Klaus, what was your perception?
8.
You detect no traps on the door.
Guys, this door is completely free of traps. I'm sure of it.
Awesome.
And I'm a rogue.
Well, you should open it then.
No, I don't. No.
On your left.
All
right. Arrow of the Gods.
Go check this one then.
You get the 1 gemstone level clearance needed message again.
I'm sorry. This terminal is
Okay.
only usable by those with 2 or more.
Fendingo's going to go check this one.
All right, you get the welcome message, and you see a list of food and drink options. Some are semi-prepared, some are raw. None are like what you would consider fancy. Like you're not going to be able to order a high-class meal out of this thing, but you can get like a roast flank of pork or something like that. And yes, ale is on the list.
How much for ale?
Ale is listed as 1 mug for 1 silver.
Put in a silver.
So basically, you hold up the silver, and a kind of like a slot opens in the marble. So when you put it in, little more animation and like fun, like a progress bar shows up, and then a giant chunk opens out of the marble and slides open, and there is a mug of ale for you.
Well.
Thank you for using Gentrignome, conquering the tyranny of affordability.
Maybe there's nothing fancy like Olive Garden, but I'll go slip in a silver as well.
So, Klaus, when you walk up and touch the thing, you do not get any message about needing a gemstone. It just displays the menu for you.
Okay, sweet. 2 silvers.
It creates 2 ales for you.
All right, Ron Weasley, Jeremy. Here we go.
Turn to Brandon. So, should we just wait for these 2 to drink themselves to death, and then we can move on?
That's sort of what we've been doing all along. I guess I don't know now that they have kind of an infinite source of ale, if this is just the end of the game.
Well, eventually they would run out of gold.
Oh, man, I got quite a ways to go.
Yeah.
Cut to 10 years later. Well, we're out of gold. Time to get back at it.
I'm pretty sure I'm looking at something like 32,000 ales before I run out of gold.
Fortunately, I've been responsible with my money.
Fandingo's curiosity is going to outweigh his pride. He's going to go over and press this one.
All right. Welcome message, light up screen, and this one displays a variety of armors. The default setting is for gnome, but as you toggle through, you see you can select sizes for all manner of baseline races, sizes, etc. It's got shield, it's got mail, it's got splint. Basically, if there's a non-magical armor in the books that any of you want, you can get it through this terminal. You can sort of call this your resupply, spend some gold portion if you want. You guys have been accumulating for a little while. I wanted to give you a chance to actually use some of it.
So there's nothing magical then.
Not in that terminal.
Okay. Oh, right. That's probably in the higher echelon.
What's in this last terminal? I wonder.
That shows a variety of weaponry. Swords, maces, polearms, bows. Again, if it's non-magical and it exists in the books, you can get it through this terminal. That's functionally going to be true of everything in here. This is your universal shop. Make good use of it.
Is there a broom?
Not in this terminal, no.
Okay.
Yeah, that's more of an adventuring gear supply.
Well, since I've been kind of shooting a lot of arrows and picking them up, and they're probably starting to get a little ratty, I'll go shopping on this weapon terminal for to refill my quiver.
Yeah, Rick, I'm gonna make a deal with you here. How does 1,000 gold for 10 returning arrows sound? That way, you don't have to worry about it, and I don't have to worry about it.
Sold.
Yep. You now have a quiver of 10 arrows that will automatically return to you. They can be broken if something like attacks them or what have you, but otherwise we're just not going to fuck with it.
He's paying that premium for convenience and service.
Yeah, that's what Gentrignome is about.
You have money. Shouldn't your life be better than poor people's? It's Gentrignome.
It's an excellent philosophy. Can't argue with his attitude.
Oh, I just realized that I, at some point, bought a hand crossbow. Had no idea I had a ranged weapon. Maybe I should.
It's not
Is
as
there an
bad as
option
forgetting a
for-
ring of invisibility.
Is there an option for 10 returning crossbow bolts?
Uh, sure, that fair is fair. $1,000 will get you the same, or 1,000
Done.
gold will get you the same.
You still got knives for your knife shooting loot.
My loot shits its own knives.
Oh, nice. That's handy.
Yeah.
It is handed dandy.
I don't think I've ever actually hit anything with it. So I don't know why I gave a fuck about the crossbow bolts, but, you know,
Yeah. Oh well, it's nice to have these things.
what else was I going to do with the money?
And yeah, it's literally, that's what D&D money is for, buying shit.
Yeah.
I'm not liking this this first level access. I see myself
Yeah.
as more of a VIP guy.
I guess I'm gonna go for the 10 returning arrows as well, because I use arrows quite a bit, and I'd rather not have to worry about them.
There you go. Since Brandon Thighmaster is right by his station when he says that, we'll count it as when you accidentally trigger the Alexa at home.
Status elevation can be achieved by gaining promotions, working hard, impressing your supervisors.
Brandon flexes.
When you have successfully achieved merit, you will be taken to the Key Enhancement Station at the end of each floor. There, your key can be enhanced to 2nd, 3rd, and even 4th gemstone tier access. Thank you for using Gentrignome, re-implementing the case system as fast as we can.
On hearing impressing, the word impressing, Brandon merely is and awaits his promotion. Any minute now, guys. Just wait here a minute.
You said this one here was the one I guess gem door, right?
The door to the northwest, yes, has the same display as all of them. All of the displays are the 4 gemstones, but this one just shows one lit up.
Okay. I will grab Fandango by the back of his collar and drag him over to that door.
Oh snap!
So, yeah, what's that? A dex save?
Yeah, roll me a dex save, because as you approach, the voice begins to speak again.
Yeah, that's a 16.
Warning. Floors beyond Floor 1 contain dangerous equipment, animals, and non-animals, but are also classified as living creatures. Going beyond this point requires you take safety at your own risk. Depart hub at your peril. Thank you for using Gentrignome. Please don't die, bring your money back.
Huh.
Well,
I gotta assume if we die, they just scoop up our money anyway.
I'm kind of assuming that everybody in here did die a long time ago, but
I was going to say, even real world Amazon hasn't got to that stage yet, Bevan.
Well, if we were like roaming through the halls in the Amazon warehouses and got attacked by bears, then yeah, I'm sure Jeff Bezos would be coming behind us with a broom and shit. And
yeah.
We get attacked by bears, and then this other bear would come along with a broom.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh, so as you guys are sort of dicking around, time passes, and although you don't know it, at the top of the hour arrives, and the center terminal, the big one, lights up kind of suddenly.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Hourly departure teleportation prepared. Anyone who would like to return to the surface, please lay hands on this terminal in the next 5 seconds.
You don't get that shit at the Amazon warehouse.
Not yet.
Huh. Alright. So do we want to go through the door and fight monsters? Or do we want to... Well, it's probably been 5 seconds, so...
And in the asking of that, it powers down.
Next surface departure in 1 hour.
Well, I'm not leaving here without maximum promotion.
Yeah, we should go. Klaus puts on his ring
Okay.
of invisibility.
Guys, roll me intelligence checks.
Hour of the Gods rolls an 18.
Fendingo rolls a 9.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a 6.
Klaus Richter rolls a 9.
Wow. Arrow of the Gods. Well, okay, actually, so Fandango and Klaus and Brandon Thighmaster will get this much. You're all hungry.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've been down in here for a while. You took a whole long rest. It's been a good time since the ship, and none of you have tried to eat or anything.
I did drink a mug of ale.
Arrow of the Gods, you recognize that you are in a well-defended, safe place with food and enough areas to lay out bedrolls and sleep. Boy, if the fact that you are down some hit points and about to go into some dangerous terrain, maybe this is a good place to take a long rest, for example. Some might even say a loving DM had put it in here specifically to help you before you went and got your asses kicked.
Hold on, everyone. I'm getting a message from the gods. They want us to...
Yeah, you want to go through, you go on through.
They think we should take a nap here where it's safe and, where Bjorg isn't, but, oh well.
Well,
Bjorg's taking a dump. He's got his own thing going on.
He's got his own side quest happening at the moment.
Alright, that kind of makes sense. I could get my spells back, and I could probably stand to eat.
While we're deliberating, Brandon Firemaster's going to stock up on a few essentials. I want 8 chickens, enough wine to fill 2 flasks, and a broom head, if it's all possible.
I was going to say, 4 whole chickens and a Coke.
It's 5 fried chickens.
Whatever.
And some dry white toast.
Nah, that's needless carbs.
We should do that one on A&D at the movie. No, I'll just watch it. I won't want to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do good ones.
Yeah.
That's a teaser for something coming in the future for all of you listening. Or maybe you don't hear this and we cut it. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, Drew will find out because he listens to our episodes.
So chicken, wine, and a broom head. Okay, chicken and wine you can get from the northeastern terminal, the small one, and that one will let you in no problem. For 4 chickens, we will say it's going to be...
I said 8 chickens.
We'll say it's going to be 3 silver per chicken, and 5 silver for the wines, for each of the wines. And in fact, actually, Brandon, Fandango, and Klaus, I want you guys to roll me intelligence checks as well.
Again?
Yeah, this is for something different.
Okay.
Similar results, though. Fandango rolls a 7.
Klaus rolls a natural 1.
Brandon Firemaster rolls a 4. Chicken.
And Fandango got a 7?
Yep.
Okay. This is something legitimately none of you would know, but your characters would. So, alright, you guys don't get it.
Fair enough. Alright, so, yeah, I guess Fandango will get burger, fries, bacon.
Brandon, the broomhead is on the middle, sort of the Middle Eastern of the terminals. And that one you can get for 5 copper. If you put in a silver, it just spits out change with your stuff. And that one does not have a gemstone clearance requirement either. Okay, roll me a perception check.
Brandon rolls an 11 perception.
These coins are old. The change it's giving you, they're stamped, they're printed, they're kingdom coins, but you don't recognize the name of the kingdom offhand. Now that could just be a foreign thing, but you do know it definitely just looks like these are definitely old ass copper coins.
I want to give my chicken a sniff. Does it sound?
Chicken's fine. Smells good, freshly roasted, ready to rock. There's nothing foul about it.
Hooray!
That's the end of the podcast.
I'll say, these coins are old. Then I'll add, I don't really care. Then I'll continue buying my chicken. I'm gonna get 8 chickens. I'm gonna put 4 of them in my bag of holding. So I guess they keep relatively fresh in there. Yeah.
They stay longer, but I don't think it stays fresh eternally.
Wow.
In the caverns and creatures world, it does.
They don't have to last for eternity, as long as they last a little while.
They'll last you a few days.
Cool. I'll also buy some shurikens while I'm here.
When you go over to the weapons terminal, that one requires a gemstone.
Fandingo, buy me some shurikens, please. I know they're useless, but they're cool.
Alright, give me some money.
I give Fandingo necessary shuriken buying money.
You can just put your coins in. You don't need him to, like, do that part for you.
I like it when people buy me things.
I just have to open it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you could give someone else the key. You
The
know, trust
fuck?
them. Yeah, fair. In this group, honestly, I don't blame you.
Shit.
Okay.
Trying to figure out how to weld it to me.
I can help you with that.
Shuriken. What did we use for shuriken before?
I'm not sure, and they just modified darts.
Yeah, I think they might have just been modified dart. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Okay, dart is, so your shuriken is 5 CP apiece.
I'll buy a gold piece worth of shurikens then.
Alright, I leave you to figure out how many shurikens that is.
Yeah, cool. While we're here, do you think any of these machines would refund my air bladder?
You do not see a refund function listed on any of the screens or
It's probably hidden.
any lever. It's almost like there's no refunds.
Dang it.
I'm sorry, what about the Gentrignome company makes you feel like customer service is super in their wheelhouse?
Especially since they've probably all been dead for several thousand years.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. Alright, Fandingo's gonna buy some caltrops, some ball bearings. At some point, I'm just getting to the point where I'm buying things to fuck with people.
And that's different from every other purchase that everyone else is making, how?
Well, I mean, Brandon bought chickens, so...
Yeah, to get more jacked to fuck with people better.
Point!
It's a cycle.
Ooh! I can buy some chain and wrap it around me and look all tough. It's probably really heavy, though.
And that's one interpretation of how that will look.
Yeah. Tough wasn't my first go-to on that Menelish.
Is he going to repair a fence or something?
Just for specialist nightclub.
Third tier X-Man.
Fandingo wants to buy 1 bag of 1,000 ball bearings, 5 bags of 20 caltrops, and a set of bagpipes.
Okay. I'm assuming you've looked all that up. So
Yep.
thing about this place is that you can just basically pay book prices. Okay. Arrow of the Gods, you are standing close as this transaction is happening. You're the last one to be able to get this. Give me an intelligence check. You're the only one who hasn't failed yours yet.
One failure coming up. So Arrow of the Gods gets a 2.
Wow, you did not disappoint. You came through.
I try.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a longsword, since I realize I have no actual, non-ranged weapons, and that actually might be useful at some point. And then I'm going to go to the food one and see what is the most rancid, slop that's edible I can buy.
Okay, it's going to take you time if you're really trying to dig in and scroll through. There's a lot of shit on all of these. So if you're really going through, all right, we're going to say it takes you a few rounds.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see. Brandon was buying chicken. Klaus, aside from the returning arrow bargain, is there anything you would like to pick up while you're here?
Klaus is going to buy 2 water skins, which he will fill with as much ale as he can. But he's going to pay for those with gold pieces, 1 each, so that he gets he'll get 6 old silver pieces in return, and just in case those are worth something. And he will also buy 2 sacks with a silver piece and get a bunch of old copper coins as well.
Okay, it's going to take you a gold each to buy enough ale to fill those water skins.
Okay.
It's going to take you 10 portions of ale to fill each one.
Oh, so worth it. Done.
Yeah, it's I'll give you high enough to know that it's a good deal. Everything you're seeing is like, man, this is a really good deal.
It's almost like these prices were from a while back.
Yep, that would have been a thing that your character could have figured out.
You know what? I got a bag of Can I fit a water skin in my bag of holding? Is the opening big enough?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I'm gonna get a few more of those bastards.
Spend your gold as you like. Pay market price for the water skin. Enough ale to fill each one is still going to be solid gold. Just make
Okay.
sure you account for how many you end up with.
All right. And boom. 20 water skins full of ale.
I'll give them access to everything. I wonder what they'll do. I knew exactly what you guys were going to do.
I will follow Klaus's example and stock up on stuff while it's cheap. I would like to get a couple of water skins filled with any kind of oil.
There are multiple kinds of oil. There is cooking oil. There is tanning oil. There is something called machinery oil. There is just a shitload of oils. There is one called massaging oil and one called gleaming oil.
Oh, so many oils. Alright, I want a water skin full of massaging, gleaming, tanning, and I guess machine oil as well. I mean, that sounds cool.
Okay, the water skins are market price in the book. For the various oils, they are going to come in at different costs. Some are a lot more expensive than others. If you really want one of each, we'll just sort of average it out and say it's going to be 50 gold.
Bargain.
What about lamp oil?
I'll get lamp oil as well.
Throw on another 10.
Yeah, cool.
For oil, we'll just say it costs 10 because oil is a little more rare than ale.
To fill a water skin with?
Yep.
Ha ha ha. All right, good times.
Did I just basically give you guys a shitload of Molotov cocktails?
I don't know what Klaus is planning to do with his oil.
Not the same as what you're doing.
I have a feeling burn it is going to be the solution to every problem that you guys encounter for a little while forward.
Yeah, I mean, it has been.
So along those same lines, Fendingo's going to buy a healer's kit.
That's very practical.
Yeah, it's probably not the worst idea.
Is there any burn salve in that kit?
Yeah, there is.
But not enough. Never enough.
And for 2 gold, a pair of manacles.
Do you have a bag of holding?
Yep.
Okay. It's like you're buying a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy a fresh pair of pants for Bjorg just in case?
He's got a loincloth. He can lift that up easy enough.
I trust Klaus's analysis of the logistics here.
Let me ask a question. In scrolling through, do I see any listings for mounts?
In the food section? No, you definitely don't see listings for mounts.
Use your imagination.
X mounts, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, you finally dig through and you find something called Orc Scuttle Trash Stew.
All right, I will get me some of that.
All right, that is going to be 2 silver. It's a
Put it
rare
in.
dish.
All right, put it in there.
It comes out. It looks like somebody whipped up a dead animal that had been run over by a carriage and left in the sun to bake for 3 days.
All right. Arrow of the Gods is like, thank you, and then he just mumbles the rest.
But the smell, not bad.
So in the equipment, is there anything like a horse?
There are no living creatures in any of these sections that you guys have access to.
Is there something akin to beef jerky here?
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely in the food section.
Yeah, that'll keep well, and something to snack on between giant bags of ale.
You can also just buy generic rations. That's sort of the, all right, I don't give a shit, just count me down for 10 meals.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
That's
doing
kind
10
of-
rations.
I hate those things are packed with preservatives. Just sticking to my chicken.
Chicken and nothing but chicken. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, rations 1 day, 5 silver.
Okay.
Pack them in.
This has been great. I've got so much oil.
Some might say too much. Blasphemers. Incorrect blasphemers.
You might not want to borrow mine if you run out.
Well,
Or maybe
let's see.
he does.
Desperate times. I mean, I do have like 6 bags of varied oil here, but I don't know.
Just throw a lit match in his direction.
That should do me for a couple of days, I would think.
All
It's a way to
right.
get an extra crisp tan.
So we're going to take a long rest, too?
Yes.
You guys may. You don't have to. I was sort of just
Oh.
pointing out that, boy, it would be convenient to do so here.
That sounds like it's a good idea, actually.
Indeed. Does anybody else have any other purchases they would like to make?
No, I'm very happy.
Not right now.
Okay. As you all are kind of settling in, making camp, throwing down like your bedrolls and everything, you see another few iterations of the hourly teleportation, and then after I think 2 more of those, 1 more happens, but then at the end the voice comes on.
Gentrignome thanks you for your workday. Please note this was the final teleportation of the workday. They will resume tomorrow at sunrise. Gentrignome encourages all of you who are still here to keep working hard. Toil for our benefit. Any after-hours questions may be directed to Hub. Thank you, and have a Gentrignome day.
And the lights kind of lower a little bit.
How many hit points do we get for a long rest?
You will recover all your hit points during a long rest.
Oh, seriously? Wow.
Yep. But you only get back half of your spent hit die.
What?
When you take short rests and use hit die to heal, you will only get half of your max back on a long rest. So say you have 4 hit die, and you use 3 of them through the course of a day,
Oh,
you're only going to get 2 back when you long rest.
alright. Well, I don't think I used any of that,
Yeah.
I do not believe y'all have.
because I didn't know how to do that, so... I'm just gonna get my hit points back, and here we go.
So, right before we all settle down, I'm like, I have 1 level 3 spell left, so I'm going to cast Tiny Hut around us
Okay.
so that monsters wandering in can't get to us. And then I'll get all my spells back.
That is what those spells are for.
Is Bjork gonna come in later and
Yeah, we're all in a 10-foot radius dome.
will I get my hit points back? I think my hit dice are back on full.
Yeah, you just locked Bjorg out.
Yeah.
Well, you know, his bowels are his problem. He can just sit outside the hut. I don't know if I want to let him back in as long as he's been shitting.
Well, you know what? He could shit in a bag of holding.
God. Now I'm just picturing Klaus spending 10 years filling a bag of holding to the brim with shit, and then throwing it onto like a deck and hurling a dagger into it.
Cut this out. This is a spoiler. This is how the show ends. After we find out what's in the well, I just fill it with shit.
So since the tiny hut is an opaque dome, and I can make it any color I want, it's purple.
Yay.
Oh, this is uncomfortable. Is he still wearing his chain?
I didn't buy the chain.
Oh, good. All right.
I think we mocked him out of the chain purchase.
Yeah. I did buy handcuffs, though.
Are they purple?
Not yet. Give me time.
Purple chain, purple chain.
I'll just play us a little lullaby on my bagpipes.
Nothing relaxes me more.
I think Arrow of the Gods will stand guard outside the tiny hut.
Yeah, that sounds like an attractive option.
Yeah. Bagpipes are no match for getting shit-faced. Klaus will be in the tiny hut.
While our bard learns to play bagpipes.
I'll try to sing along with whatever he's playing.
He's going to demoralize those opponents one way or a goddamn nother.
Opponents. Yeah.
A fireball flinging bard with bagpipes. Best game ever.
It's not too far off from the Samurai Jack character.
So does it still count as a long rest if he's playing bagpipes?
He'll eventually fall asleep, I'm assuming. If not, then no, it does not.
Yeah, eventually I'll take a nap.
You guys are going to have to sleep for 8 hours.
Alright,
That is what a long rest is.
Cool.
we'll sleep for 8 hours.
Yeah.
I can
All
do that.
right. When you awaken, you all find a unconscious, visibly drained, like a little paler Bjorg, sound asleep, just dead to the world, snoring outside the hut. He appears to be wearing a new loincloth. I guess he figured out how the terminals worked, and I don't think anybody really wants to ask a question past that.
Yeah, you are correct.
Yes, extremely correct.
I do not look inside his bag of holding.
Probably a good move.
All right, do we want to go through the one gem door?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, Bjorg. Nice loincloth. See ya.
We're off to get promoted. You snooze, you lose. It's the Gentrignome way.
Bjorg sleepily stumbles after you all, so tired that he can't talk and definitely won't be able to fight if you trigger an attack. Yeah, I probably do. All right, I need marching order. Who's opening the door? And who's going in after who? Bjorg is automatically going to get thrown into a far back position.
I checked for traps. Somebody else can go. Oh, this is a different door.
Yeah.
Different door.
Then I shall check for traps. Perception. Klaus rolls a 14.
You detect no traps.
All right, guys. Way is clear.
All right, well, Arrow of the Gods being the only true adventurer here, will take point.
Brandon Firemaster will stay by Fendingo.
Yeah, Fendingo's going to open the door and go walk behind Brandon.
Okay.
Just in case there's anything dangerous, Klaus will guard the rear.
Would you like me to play a jaunty marching tune on my bagpipes?
Yeah.
No.
All right, Scotland the Brave it is.
Fire an arrow into like, you know, the the air bladder of the bagpipes.
Roll me an attack.
You'll just buy another one. Just to spite you.
Wow.
Natural 1.
Oh, God. You take one of those fancy brand new returning arrows and you just snap it in half over your knee. And then try to fire it into the bagpipes. Go wild off. It's completely broken. For some reason, you just thought it would be easier, I guess, to shoot a smaller arrow. It was not a great plan, and now you have 9 returning arrows.
That seems like it was a poor choice, Arrow. What were you... I'm sure you had a really solid plan, but why don't we just go through the door now?
That dumbass. I was trying to sing along with the tune, and now I've lost it.
Don't worry, I'll start again.
All right, good.
On a natural 20, I hit him. All right, Arrow of the Gods will lead the way.
Okay, as you push the door open, do you have any sort of dark vision?
Absolutely not.
Okay, you are looking into a pitch black room.
Arrow of the Gods will walk back and buy some sun rods.
Why don't I just cast light?
Clap, clap, dick light. This is the best dick light.
There you go. Okay, you have now cast light.
Yeah, I cast light on my bagpipes.
You're my wonder wall.
Arrow of the Gods, you see that the hallway is similar to what you're dealing with now. Like, smooth, crafted, obviously built. None of that rough terrain shit you saw in the first level. It's kind of inclining upward, leading to just a series of like ramps kind of going higher and higher. And that's all you can see from your vantage point.
All right, I'll start leading the way.
Okay, everyone gonna follow?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, the door shuts as soon as you are all through, and you hear a distinct lock-clicking noise as it is sealed up. And then you can all proceed up the ramps, and you kind of reach the end of a hallway, and you see another door at the end. But everybody roll me perceptions.
Arrow of the Gods rolls a 3.
Oh, Klaus rolls a natural 20.
Fendingo rolls a 13.
And Brandon rolls an 11.
Okay, Arrow of the Gods, true to form, sees fuck and shit. Fendingo and Brandon Thighmaster can both hear noises coming from the other side. Although it's hard, like, it's just shifting movement is all you're getting. Klaus, though, with a goddamn natural fucking 20, I have to give it to you, it's a nat 20. you can tell that these are the sounds of animals of some sort.
Whoa.
There's like enough snuffling and like scraping and like just general like non-patterned movement. You're like, this is some sort of wild creature that's in this room. But that's all you're getting. Type and everything. Fuck you.
I've got to give it to you. It's some kind of animal. Whoa.
I didn't even want you guys to know that much, but fuck, the dice want what they want.
All right. Klaus with a natural 20 perception says, "Hey guys, I know what he's playing. It's Piano Man." And there's like an animal around here somewhere.
Oh.
Maybe music will soothe the savage beast, or it'll eat him.
Maybe it's a real estate novelist who never had time for a wife.
Maybe he's full of gravy and still in the Navy.
Full of gravy, Joe.
I don't know. Getting a little hungry again.
I guess that makes more sense than real estate novelist, to be fair.
And, I mean, it's an animal. It wouldn't be named Davy.
It seems like the sunken beast has started its mind attacks already.
It probably wouldn't write real estate novels either.
They're gibbering like drunk toddlers. What do we do, Arrow of the Gods?
Kick open the door and hope for a quick death.
Oh, Arrow just kicked the door down.
Sweet.
So I guess we will find out what sort of animals there are on the next episode of Authors and Dragons. But don't worry, lest you think the show is over, we still have another section going where we take questions from the audience over at facebook.com/authorsanddragons, where we also post our live vlog. But, of course, before that, we have some people cut the line and jump in front. So, Rick, why don't you tell us what the Patreon Discord asked this week?
All right. Our friend Crisis asks, and since I was paying attention to the chat as if the game was going on, fuck you, Crisis.
Fuck you, Crisis.
I think it's actually going to be a fairly reasonable component of side quests, is us getting to try different games and doing some one-shots. In fact, we don't have everything locked down yet, but I think one of the next episodes we're planning to record is going to be a friend running a game of Everyone is John that we play. And I'm really excited for that one, because I've gotten to play it, and I know what a goddamn shit show that thing is in the first place. I can't wait to see what these assholes do. But I think definitely you'll see some one-shots on side quests, maybe even some 2 to 3, depending on what we set up and what we do. That format offers a lot of freedom that we're going to be using.
Hey, you know, it'd be fun if we played like Axis and Allies in character.
So everyone's drunk in an hour?
Doesn't that game take like 6 hours?
There are bigger problems. Never mind.
Yeah, it's a game where there is nothing but Axis. All right, moving on. Our friend Zachary asks, what is a trope or cliche that you hate, and what's a good example of when it was subverted successfully?
Oh man, I wish I had some time to think about that.
Yeah, no shit.
That's a good
Yeah.
question. Something that annoys me about it's a fairly modern one. Ironic fangirl/fanboy inserts into properties. I noticed it first, I think, in Jurassic World, in the remake, and there was a guy in there who had an original Jurassic Park t-shirt. He was like, oh, the old park was legit. And I thought, you wouldn't have known about the old park because it never opened because everybody got eaten by dinosaurs. You're just a self-insert of some kind of fanboy guy to make a meta commentary on self-awareness, trying to kind of justify the fact that you haven't come up with an original idea. And I see it increasingly used, where there's a character who's like, oh, isn't this wacky? I'm referencing this as somebody outside the universe would reference it. I'm like, no, it's not wacky, it's lazy. Why don't you fuck off?
Well, as somebody who's known for not having original ideas and for probably being lazy, I usually find those kind of funny.
It's probably annoying me more because it's I hate when somebody does something and then all of a sudden it's everywhere. That annoys me. So I don't know. I don't think I've found an example of it used well, because I'm still obviously at the anger stage of accepting this. So give me a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, when we're talking about tropes that we hate, it's really kind of hard to like think of like things where they've been done well, because the whole concept of hating it probably means that no matter how you've seen it, it still sucks.
I could got one I can do. I hate body switching tropes because like every time you see it in like an action or like a sci-fi, I was like, ah, fuck me, we're just gonna piss away an episode, aren't we? Because nothing of consequence is gonna happen. We know we're gonna reset hard immediately. It always feels like an okay, we're out of ideas thing. But I don't mind it as much in comedies because comedies like don't pretend that there's going to be stakes. The whole thing is just about okay, well we can use this to make jokes, and then it doesn't bother me as much. Like when they're like, oh look, you know this is bullshit, but we're at least gonna have fun with it. So that one sort of bothers me less. But God, I fucking hate when they try to use the body switch trope sincerely.
Also, any body switching scenario that doesn't immediately result in them both kind of going to separate bathrooms to check out their junk is not being handled correctly, because that's just what would happen in every situation.
Actually, I can think of a good maybe. I guess it wound up being comedy, but when Justice League did that, when they had Flash and Lex Luthor switch minds, there was just this awesome scene where Lex Luthor, as the Flash, he goes into the bathroom. He's been found out. He's being chased, and he's like, "Well, at least I'll learn like the Flash's secret identity." And he rips off his mask and he looks in the mirror and he's like, "I have no idea who this is."
Yeah, I remember that one. I loved it. I was like, oh yeah, fair enough. He is just some asshole.
That's pretty fucking funny. One I hate is, and again, it's a new one, is the fucking musical episodes. Buffy's the only
We're
good
at a hard
one.
disagree on that one, John.
Buffy's the only good one. I love the Buffy one because it was the first. But goddamn.
I did not like the house one.
I will put in as a good one of that, alongside the Buffy one, the Always Sunny in Philadelphia, The Wiz.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. The Scrubs one is great. It was written by the people who did Avenue Q, and I think Kate Monster was actually the woman who played the victim.
Okay. I mean, I can't hate anything that was written by the folks who did Avenue Q.
Yeah, they are pretty damn good at their jobs.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble coming up with anything. I might all I do is like subvert tropes.
One I hate, and it's been around forever. I mean, you go back and like watch sitcoms from like the 60s and 70s. It was all over the fucking place. It's a trope in comedy, or it's a trope in romance, and it is pretty much the number one trope that keeps the new Lost in Space episode going, which is the whole somebody sees or hears something that they're not supposed to, or they misunderstood it, and rather than talking to the people involved, they just keep the secret, and and hilarity ensues.
Oh, yeah, the complete inability to ask someone, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I mentioned the new Netflix Lost in Space, which I kind of enjoy, but it just drives me nuts in that every single episode hinges around, well, gee, I've just found out that Dr. Smith is is a murderous dirtbag. Maybe I won't tell anybody. Why would you do that?
I think oh god, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but that was one of my favorite parts of the first season of Young Justice, was when they said fuck you to that trope. And the spoiler alert for a 5-year-old show, season 1. But throughout the course of it, they the different villains have gotten different dirt on each one of them, and they're like, how you have to do this and you have to do this, and it's sort of trying to pull them all apart. And finally, one of them just hey, I'm addicted to these drugs that Lex Luthor has been supplying me for half a year. And another one's yep, I'm secretly an evil version of my species. And they all just tell each other their secrets. And at the end, they're oh, okay, well now the villains have no power over us.
End of episode. Everyone go home.
No, it was great. They fought back. It was a great fuck you of that trope of oh yeah, if you just communicate with each other, it's amazing what shit can go down.
That's a bit too positive a message for my free time. I'm going to stick to being angry at self-aware nerds.
Don't watch the new DuckTales. It'll make you smile.
All right. Our friend Stephanie asks, what is something you own that you're most proud of, whether it's memorabilia, first editions, etc.?
I don't know.
There aren't very many specific things that I really have that I'm really proud of or really love, but I commissioned a painting at Heroes Con a few years ago of Death from the Sandman comics by an artist named John Hairston Jr., who's a local guy here in Charlotte, and I love his style and I love his work, and that hangs in pride of place on my office wall. He works in big formats, so this is I guess it's like a 2 foot by 4.5 foot canvas that he painted for me over the course of one day at a con. So yeah, that's something that I have that I really love and I'm really proud of.
I'm gonna go with my Ron Weasley Jeremy that you guys gave me.
Aww.
I thought you guys were gonna kick my ass, so that was a nice surprise.
Get over here, Bevan.
We're gonna beat you out of the podcast.
You got jumped in.
There's an alternate universe where you're sitting there with like a black eye and like broken teeth, going, "Gee, it would have been nice if they had just given me a stuffed weasel instead."
I was seriously wondering, what did they find out?
Is this my James Gunn moment?
This podcast is the reason none of us will direct for Disney.
Yeah, John, this podcast is the reason none of us will direct for
I was going to say, all of us here have read like Ghost of Hooker Alley. What horrors do you have? That top that.
What aren't you putting on the table, Bevan? I'm curious now.
Oh, man. I've got some signed books from Gordon Corman, who was my favorite writer growing up as a kid and who I still credit as a lot of the influence on my writing style. So those are something
cool.
I take a lot of pride in.
Yeah, I don't know. Do I technically own my children? I think they're the only thing I'm proud of that I haven't sold. That's only because I'm not really allowed to sell them. So,
I mean, if you're really determined, I think there are markets, but
Yeah, don't. We don't judge.
I'm just trying to think but I'm looking around for possessions. There you go. I have a Phantasm box set, which is in the sphere with the daggers coming out from Phantasm.
Cool.
There you go.
Wait till your parents die. They got like a shit ton of Beatles memorabilia.
I haven't got anything yet. Dad, come on, Dad, stop being selfish.
This should probably come as no surprise to anybody who has read or listened or anything I do, but I'm sitting in an office quite literally surrounded by Transformers on 3 sides. And the only reason it's not on 4 sides is because there's a window there. So, yeah, I mean, I have all 5 first generation Dinobots, and I've pretty much told my kids, I was like, yeah, a lot of these things are worth stuff. When Daddy goes, you can get it. Except these get buried with me.
Oh, that's a good idea. I should do a straight up Egyptian style buried with random shit. Not valuable shit, just random shit. Really confuse people.
Like your coffin is a time capsule.
I used to have this disturbing plan that would say, okay, for everybody who's listed my will, the deed to all of his property has been sewn inside his body. Whoever can eat their way to it first gets it.
Oh, God.
That's leaving a legacy.
Because you know something? At that point, I
is.
know you've earned it.
I'll bury a bunch of random shit with me, and on my tombstone it'll say, "Dig me up in 2500." Time capsule.
Why did he want a 12-pack of Mountain Dew Baja Blast?
Well, that shit would still be carbonated.
Yeah.
It would just all be Kirkland Light, and I'd have my middle fingers up.
But I mean, they still get the treasure of Kirkland Light.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, they discontinued this 500 years ago.
Holy shit! Whole religions have popped up around this. It's the Holy Grail.
You've actually led them to the greatest treasure in all of the land.
In 5,000 years, Kirkland Light is the Holy Grail.
My funeral plan was less bury, more throw a party and have a margarita bus show up outside. I wanna give people one last hangover and make them wake up the next day and say, "Fuck you, Drew." It's what I did in life. God damn it, it's what I'm gonna do in death.
I guess I could be buried in my stand-in Firemaster costume.
Oh God,
That's a treasured possession.
that has to be an open coffin wake.
Bob puts a cold Kirkland Light in your hand.
I'll have to hunt one down.
Comes back midway through the ceremony and steals a sip.
Yeah, like grandparents, like they come back. They're like, oh my God, he opened it. He's alive.
Nah, I'll just take the whole can. Nobody's gonna know for another 500 years.
All right, I think we've beaten that one into the ground and beyond.
Yeah, we got some weird mileage out of that one, but we did get mileage.
Let's see here. We have two that are kind of the same, but I'll one from Cameron and one from Mark. Say it with me now.
Fuck you,
Fuck
Mark.
you, Mark.
You, Mark.
Fuck you, Cameron. Oh shit.
But yes, if you could invite one other author, alive or dead, to join the party, who would it be and what class would they play?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Shit. So I guess
think-
the real question is, who's going to get to Terry Pratchett first?
I don't know if Terry Pratchett would be good on a team. I mean, he's a wonderful storyteller and a hell of a guy. But his whole thing is kind of... Well, I was just about to say, his whole thing is kind of, I guess, mocking fantasy. But then again, that's sort of a lot of our things as well. I think it'd be a toss-up between Terry Pratchett as a wizard or Adolf Hitler as a cleric. Or Adolf Hitler as a paladin, so we could finally have a worse paladin than Rick.
I was really wondering where you were going with that.
I'm so glad to know that you need Adolf Hitler to top me.
Well, he's the only author monster I can think of. I don't think Genghis Khan ever wrote a book or a manifesto. I'll have to look into that, Rick. I'll get back to you.
Huh. Now I'm kind of wondering about that.
I guess maybe like Andy Weir is a rogue, because for thinking outside the box and shit. Like he would. Well, no, then he'd just show me up. Never mind.
Well, and the Mark and Artemis was a pretty good heist novel, so he'd probably be all right at that. I want like Christopher Moore as. I think I want him as. I don't know, a warlock or something.
Can I make Neil Gaiman be the GM?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That counts.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I would play in a Neil Gaiman game.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, God, fuck,
Giant.
I've got it. Sean Baby as a fighter.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be
That
great.
would rule.
I'm gonna go old school to classics and say, like, dig up Mark Twain, because just from like his stories and stuff he wrote, he seems like he kind of had a sense of humor, and I mean, yeah, he'd probably be kind of racist as fuck, but
You think?
yeah. But then we would look all awesome next to him and be like, dude, you can't say things like that, for shame,
But like in a week, Mark Twain gets way more woke than the rest of us. It's like, oh God, what do we do?
Was he not highlighting racism?
He was, but if you pull anybody out of the
or was he
1800s,
just-
they're gonna have some views that don't stack up.
Yeah.
well.
All right.
Plus, we're gonna have to take a long time explaining to him what Dungeons and Dragons is.
And then we have to teach
Why he can't say those words anymore.
and then we got to teach him how to Skype.
Yeah, that's
To
a headache.
resurrect Nathaniel Hawthorne just to beat the 6 hours he stole out of from him. Fucking hated that book. Really did.
Chaucer would probably come up with better sex jokes than the rest of us.
We wouldn't be able to understand them, which would be the downside.
You could translate for us.
I was going to say we could explain why the racism is bad to H.P. Lovecraft, but he just wouldn't care.
Yeah. It'd be great if Chaucer was indistinguishable from Farnsworth Butter Biscuit. We're always like, oh boy. Ooh, we really prettied this up in history, didn't we?
I think I'd take China Mayville, or Meeville, whatever his name is, as a GM, because his stuff is very fantastical, but also very fucked up and pervy. So that'd be interesting.
Well, this would definitely be a fun gaming.
Yeah, we built a better podcast than this one. Sorry.
Which one? The one with Hitler in it, or the one?
Oh yeah, all right. The Hitler part kind of. Thanks, Steve. You kept us solvent. We're still technically better.
A&D would stand for Adolf and Dragons.
Axis and Dragons.
I guess if we ever play Axis and Allies, we could call it that. But we shouldn't.
No. We probably shouldn't invite Hitler to be resurrected and join our podcast.
I feel like that's not the best use of resurrection magic.
That was just, that was a poorly thought out first choice. There were better choices I could have picked.
Yeah, it's like you could have brought back any like wonderful person in the world, and you brought back Hitler to play Dungeons and Dragons with.
Only to make you look better, Rick. Be fair. My heart was in the right place.
If we threw in Jenny Lawson as a cleric, that podcast would be unfucking stoppable. Because that woman's hilarious.
Oh, she's great.
Oh, yeah.
Jenny Lawson.
Jenny Lawson, the Let's Pretend This Never Happened author. She narrates her own audiobooks. It's one of the few times I think it's the absolute right decision to make, because she adds like a layer of personality and texture to the stories that even reading the book and loving it, the audio was wildly better.
Meeting her was pretty awesome.
Oh, that must have been.
Yeah, it was just a signing. She came through Charlotte when that book came out. But yeah, it was pretty neat. Her blog is great too.
Oh yeah. Everything she writes is fucking hilarious.
And brutally painful.
Okay, so maybe not her. Like, fuck. Then the rest of us don't even need to be on the podcast.
Author and dragons.
Yeah. Jenny Lawson and Sean, baby.
We'll just play the dragons.
Oh fuck! I would just listen.
Yeah. It's like, can we just make that happen? All right, Rick. We can probably do one more good one.
Oh well, that's a good thing, because I'm not sure if we have any more good ones, but we have several not so good ones. Here's a disturbing one. Our friend Eduardo says, if there was a 40,000 word fan fiction about Clammy Head's Edgar, would you guys be interested in beta reading it?
Ah!
I'm on enough watch lists.
I'd read the first 2,000 words and make my decision from
Most
there.
of my published books aren't 40,000 words. That's fucked up.
That's dedication.
That's the power of Clamahan sensuality.
This is a fan who doesn't do shit halfway. When he decides to skin one of us, he's gonna skin all of us.
That would be a great gag on the listeners. Is I finally agree to do a character book like you guys have been doing, but instead of giving them Judge Hungry, you get Clammy Hands Edgar.
Or Toadstool.
I guess the answer to that question is yes, absolutely.
All right, we have one more, and this is a pretty good one. Zachary asks, "What's a weird skill that you have?"
Any skill I have.
I don't have any skills.
I can write dick jokes.
I almost always fast forward the exact perfect amount through a commercial.
Well, that's a good one.
There's a weird fucking skill for you.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's really useful.
Think of all the time you'll say. Like, accumulatively, that's got to be like a year of your life that you've liberated from shitty commercials.
If it is, then big chunk of life you've been spending watching TV.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think the insane encyclopedic knowledge of all media just fell into my lap? No, this is dedication.
This is why I'm so quiet during these questions.
Yeah, I don't know what mine would be. I mean, I can talk people into, like, fetching shit for me.
I can, I don't know. I can eat and drink really quickly. I don't know if that's a skill. I mean, I guess, like, if you're in a hurry, Steve's your man. It's like, we've got to finish lunch, but then do this important thing. So I can do both. So
This food needs to be gone, like, now.
put me in, coach. That's what I've been waiting for.
We weren't supposed to have a pizza.
We robbed McDonald's last night. Our living room's filled with chicken nuggets and the cops are on the way. What do we do? Thanks, guys.
I don't know. I haven't practiced in a lot of years, but I used to spend hours on end, like taking things like Cheerios or peanuts and just flinging them as high up in the air as I could and just catching them in my mouth.
I did that with, what were those called? Tiny Tots? Or what?
Like,
Those little shitty chalk-like candies?
oh, yeah. I don't know what they're called.
It's Rick's skill now, anyway. You can't have it.
Yeah, but Bob put them on his... But Bob put him on his dick and flicked them up into his mouth.
All right. Okay, cool.
I, for the record, I did not.
Was that the thing we're not supposed to find out?
No, I'll work on that, and then, but I don't want to claim it as a skill, before I have it.
Well, you've mastered it. Okay.
Before I can demonstrate it.
Are you afraid that someone's going to ask you to prove it? Because I'm betting. Well, no, our listeners totally would.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping just somebody would just deadpan this of, yeah, I can suck my own dick.
Rick, we would have mentioned that before now. If that was the case.
Okay, so there's actually precedent on Rick's side, Steve. We've done a few mimic chests of the Doughboys podcast, and I think we've also done a few High and Mighties. And so High and Mighty will sometimes do a Power Hour podcast. On one such occasion, they had Nick Weiger from the Doughboys, and at around shot 50, they were all talking about things like they hadn't said in public before, at which point he dropped the bombshell on the crowd that he could indeed suck his own dick.
Why the fuck would he ever leave home?
Yeah.
I can put my dick in other people's mouths. If anybody wants proof,
Just say
well,
I'm really seeing how you're gonna land this.
Yeah, I was gonna say we are never doing a Power Hour with you again.
Next Power Hour, the Bevan and Brassy Power Hour. The rest of us are like, nah, dude, we're not doing a Power Hour with Bevan again. But Joe,
consensually.
Yeah. All right, we're 50 minutes into the Power Hour, guys. Time for me to show you my special skills.
Sit down, Bevan.
shot 49, Fendingo goes to the bathroom for a while, alone.
That just sounds like you're jerking off in the bathroom at shot 49.
Well, maybe.
Oh God, Bevan put his dick in somebody.
I'll never fucking finish now.
Well, this seems like a good place to end the episode. Oh, we'll see you in a couple of weeks on the next episode of Authors and Dragons. Bye.
Bye.
Why are you still listening?
Authors and Dragons! Authors and Dragons!
Thank you, and have a Gentrignome day.